Sandy here, right? And we have Tamika. Am I saying your name right? Thank you for coming. Probably it's because it's a weekend. We don't have many teachers today, but it's already 8:10, and we'll start right from here, okay? So welcome to today's webinar. Our topic today is success strategies for language teachers in locally managed schools. Since we only have 2 guests here because Rita works in Maple Leaf, may I ask if you are already working in Maple Leaf or you are going to, right? I guess you are going to work at Maple Leaf, right? And we're going to have 3 sections. We're going to talk about language learner success criteria. We're going to talk about evaluation and support for language teachers. And we'll also talk about integrating successfully into their work environment. After each section, you have the opportunity to ask questions that you concern. And since we don't have many people, you can ask case-specific questions, I guess. And also, we welcome you to apply for a position if you haven't on our website. Here is the link, and we still have some openings in several campuses. So first things first, about your host, me. Who am I? My name is Vicki Li, and I work at the Wuhan campus. I actually have been living and working in Wuhan for 14 years now. 2 years at Wuhan University of Technology, where I got my master's degree in linguistics, and the other 12 years with Maple Leaf, including 1 year in Jinzhou campus. That was in 2015 when Jinzhou campus was opened. I worked there for the whole school year. And I started at Maple Leaf as a high school English teacher and then the assistant director and director. Right now, I'm responsible for the K-10 ESL program of Hubei's school district, which includes 3 campuses of Wuhan, Jinzhou, and Xiangyang. Xiangyang was opened 1 year ago. So again, welcome to today's session. And let's talk about criteria for learner success first. I assume that you are language teachers, right? Because if you are, or ESL teachers, because if you are, you're probably work at elementary and middle schools if you come to Maple Leaf. And Maple Leaf Elementary and the middle schools are a little bit different from Maple Leaf High School. Maple Leaf High School is a pure international school that adopts international program. However, elementary and middle school, they are under the management of the local educational bureau and the government. Because in China, grade 1 to grade 9, they are it's compulsory education. Just for your information, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but in China, when we say elementary school, we refer to grade 1 to grade 6, and the middle school refers to grade 7 to grade 9. So the students in elementary and middle schools, they not only learn Maple Leaf courses, but they also have to learn the national curriculum. That is to say, Maple Leaf Elementary and middle schools are not like language training centers where you may have worked before, nor it is as academic as Maple Leaf High School. And in order for students to receive the dual diplomas in high school, the student have to pass local English tests. Actually, not only local English tests, but also local tests of other subjects before they graduate from middle school. And at the same time, they have to develop proficient listening and speaking skills so that they will survive successfully in Maple Leaf High School, because all the courses are taught in English. Students will have to learn subjects like science, accounting, marketing, literature, etc., all in English. And they have to have profound listening and speaking skills. And this is the unique pattern Maple Leaf has developed and implemented for the past 25 years very successfully. So to work at Maple Leaf, we have to understand this unique pattern and culture and bring it into the classroom. Like said, Maple Leaf School is not like the language training centers where it seems that having fun is the priority, especially for very young learners. But at Maple Leaf, what is our expectation? Do we expect our students to have fun in class? Yes, of course, but at the end of the day, they have to learn something. They have to master the English skills that they need besides having fun. Furthermore, like mentioned earlier, passing the local test is really very important, not only to the student, but also to the school as well. Because if the student can pass the local test, that means their test result is very good, right? That is what Chinese parents see very important. I guess it might be the case for most countries in Asia, right? It seems that Asians attach more importance to test results compared with Westerners, right? And plus, Maple Leaf is a private school. The better the test results are, the more student will enter Maple Leaf, right? And the more students enter Maple Leaf, ultimately, the more benefit the teachers will get, and probably a more pleasant working environment as well. So it matters everyone, and we have to understand it. And the two facts about Maple Leaf Elementary and Middle School is that, first, our students' listening and speaking abilities do exceed the students in most public schools. And it is due to three major reasons. One is, of course, because of our excellent international teachers. So that our students have the chances to communicate with the international teachers almost every day, and they love it. And secondly, is because we have more English classes than the public schools. In the public schools, students start to have English classes from grade 3. But here at Maple Leaf, our students start to learn English from kindergarten. Besides, we have more English classes each week compared with public schools as well. Students have 10 English classes every week. And in public schools, some of them only have 2 or 3. Yeah, I think. And lastly, it's also because our bilingual teachers, they also teach in English. And we encourage students to speak English, not only in English class, but also outside of the classroom. So all this determine that Maple Leaf students' listening and speaking abilities are excellent. However, there's another fact, another truth is that some students who are able to pass Maple Leaf Level 7 may not be able to pass the local English test, which is not our expectation. So here I need to explain a little bit. In Maple Leaf ESL program, we have the leveling teaching from level 1 to level 9. And if students are able to pass level 7 by the time they graduate from middle school, then they will be admitted by high school international program, which means they don't have to spend another half year study the bridging courses. It saves time. So right now, about 70% of our grade 9s could pass the level 7. But not all of these 70% of students are able to pass the local English test. Why? Because the two systems are very different. In our Maple Leaf ESL system, we really focus on fostering students' critical thinking skill. And in the standardized test, take a reading comprehension, for example, most of the questions are short answer questions. So the students are expected to express their understanding in their own words. And as long as the answer makes sense and is reasonable, they can get the mark, or at least a part of the mark. And there is no so-called correct answer, right? However, in the local English testing system, most of the questions are multiple choices and the answers are just quite straightforward. You choose A or B or C or D. You have to choose the answer that the test makers think correct. And yeah, and it's very different. And sometimes the student does good in one system and they don't in the other. But we are working on it. This recent 2 years, we are working on blending these two systems together. We are trying to find a balance so that to help our students to succeed in both of these systems. And so far, bilingual teachers have done a lot on this. And international teachers need to work with the bilingual teachers so that we can achieve this mutual goal. Okay. So that is the criteria for learner success, how we assess students and what we call the learning is successful or not. All right, that's my first section, and let's come to the Q&A session. Sandy or Tamika, do you have any questions for me regarding this first section? If you do, you can feel free to ask. Hello? Okay, if you don't have a question for me, then I have a question for you. So here is the question. I actually mentioned it just now. Why are local English tests important to the students? Sandy, would you like to answer this question? Can you hear me? You can hear me, right? Okay, then what about Tamika? Do you have any idea to share here? Or you want me to explain again? Well, maybe you're wondering if it is the case for all Maple Leaf campuses, because we have so many campuses, right? So were I talking about the specific case in Wuhan campus, or it is universal for most of the campuses? Well, to my knowledge, it is so for most campuses, but maybe not Dalian and Chongqing, not for now, because these two campuses, the grade 9 students in these two campuses, they don't have to take the local tests when they graduate from grade 9. And apart from these two campuses, all the other students, they have to take the local tests. And it seems that it is becoming more and more important. If the student can pass the test, then people will see that, okay, Maple Leaf is doing a very good job, then maybe I'll send my kids there. And the reputation becomes, more popular and we have more students. And as said, more students means better business, because we are private school anyway, right? Ultimately, we're a private school, and having more students is really very important. All right, so let's continue to the second section. If you don't have any questions for this part. What happens here? Okay. All right, nextly, okay, Tamika, you have a question? Okay, I think you can speak now. Oh, sorry, I asked you questions, but I didn't realize that you couldn't speak, right? I'm so sorry. Hi, can you hear me? Tamika, are you speaking? I don't hear you. I think I clicked it that you can speak.
Hello?
Hi. Okay, finally. Thank you. Okay.
No, when you asked, I was saying, hello, can you hear me? But it
Uh-huh.
seems that the device were on mute. Yes, I was saying that you could move on to the next section.
Okay. You don't have any questions for this part, right?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you have applied for Maple Leaf or you are still considering?
I've applied.
Okay. All right, let's continue to the next section. Thank you very much. Okay, and nextly we'll talk about evaluation and support. So probably you're thinking that, well, I haven't even entered Maple Leaf yet, and you're talking to me about teacher evaluation? Well, yeah, I'm talking about teacher evaluation, but at the same time, I'm also talking about the support to the teachers. So you don't have to panic yet, because the teacher evaluation process itself is a means of a one-on-one help and support to the new teachers. And we usually do this new teacher evaluation with teachers in their first year at Maple Leaf. Most of the time it's in the first semester. Sometimes in the second semester when there are too many new teachers that year. And what we do is that we explain clearly to the teachers about the look-fors and expectations at the very beginning of the school year. As for me, I just gave teacher a copy of the look-fors, so they have it in their hands from the very beginning. That's what I'm going to look at when I observe their classes later, right? And we also have a timeline for the observation so that teachers know clearly what happens in the first month, what happens in the second month, etc. And then the process mainly includes informal class observations and the formal class observations. We usually do 2 informal observations in the first month, like in September or February, and no record will be made. The major purpose is to get teachers familiar with the daily routines and the basic class rules, etc. And after the informal observations, we do the formal observations. So for the formal observations, we have the scheduled visits and unscheduled visits. For the scheduled visits, so feel free to choose your favorite class, and you probably also want to choose the best time of the day when you feel most comfortable with. Maybe you won't want to choose the first day in the morning, the first class in the morning, nor the first class in the afternoon. So the 2 scheduled visits is all on you. Yeah. It's at your call. You just tell your director when and which class you want him or her to come into. And for this unscheduled visit, you don't have to feel nervous about it because I can tell you the trick. Maybe you want to ask, okay, what does it mean unscheduled? Does my director just pop into my class without any notice? Yes, that is what the directors do. But the trick is, take our campus for example. I actually usually tell my teachers at the feedback meeting after the second scheduled visit. Usually I say, all right, I will do the unscheduled visit within the next 2 weeks, so that they already have an idea of the general time when I'll pop in. And they know that I won't go in on Wednesdays because that Wednesday is meeting day. And they also know that I won't go on Fridays because Fridays teachers are very busy, and usually, especially in the afternoon, some parents will come and talk to the teachers. I don't like to put more pressure on teachers on Fridays. So see that narrow down the limit again. And again, I also tell my teacher that, okay, I'll probably go to a class that I have never been to yet. So they also know which class I'll probably go to because they know which classes I have been to already. So you see, although it's called unscheduled, it's not totally unscheduled. That is why I say you don't have to feel nervous about it. And we're usually very encouraging. When all the class visits are done, we come up with the teacher evaluation reports. But some teachers, if they need more help and support, then we'll prolong the process. We won't rush to give the teacher a report by the end of the semester. Probably we'll do 1 or 2 more visits in the following semester, and we'll only write the reports when the teacher is on the right track. So you see, in this process, a lot of support will be offered. And when I write the evaluation report, I don't just write it myself and put it in the teacher's folder. I usually send it to the teacher to themselves to preview and to see if they are comfortable with what I write, and if they want me to add or delete anything, they can just let me know, and I'll probably do it. And we'll only send the paper version that we both feel very happy about. So yeah, that's basically this process. Besides the support on teaching, you also get support in other aspects as well, like communication with parents and the homeroom teachers. And here, your bilingual partners will help you a lot. So for each international teacher, you have several bilingual teachers who share the same classes with you. And they are usually the first person that you may want to contact if you have any problem or if you need any help. Say, take communication with parents, for example. Let's say if you have this one student, Susan, who is not doing very well recently, and you want to meet with Susan's parents. And then you can ask your bilingual partner to book a time with Susan's parents. And when the parents come, you sit down with them. Your bilingual partner can also sit down together with you. One is that they can translate for you, and the other is because your bilingual partner probably has the same issues with Susan as you. Because for most students, if they don't behave in one teacher's class, they won't behave in other teachers' classes either. So the bilingual teachers help you a lot. And the same goes with the homeroom teachers. Although most of our homeroom teachers speak English and some of them speak excellent English, but if your homeroom teacher doesn't speak English and when you need their help, or if you want to communicate with them about the students, again, you can use your bilingual teacher's help. They can be here again to translate for you. So here's the tip, that is, you probably want to maintain a very good relationship with your bilingual partners and also with your homeroom teachers, because they are the people who could offer you a lot of help and support daily. I mean, your ESL directors offer you overall help, and especially in terms of teaching, but like in daily, you're in the classroom most of the time in the day, and your bilingual partners and the homeroom teachers, maybe they are more handy to help you. Yeah. And here I have 2 examples to share with you, one positive one and one negative. So we have this teacher who won the title of Excellent Teacher in the first Maple Leaf Educational System ESL Leveling Teaching Competition. Is really a long name, right? And only 12 teachers among the whole system won this title, including bilingual and international from grade 1 to grade 10, and only 3 out of these 12 teachers won this title. So we see that the competition was very competitive. And this teacher of ours, he could win Of course, firstly, it's because he is a good teacher himself and he had some experience before coming to Maple Leaf. And the other major reason is that I would say this teacher is very open to suggestions. He always took the advice offered to him and he applied the strategies that he learned at our workshops. And he always strives to design his lesson better. And this teacher is still with us and he's still doing great right now. So that is the benefit of the teacher evaluation. The point is not really to assess the teachers, but it's a means of one-on-one help and support, like I said just now. And international teachers are from all over the world. I mean, ESL teachers are from all over the world. So the teachers have various backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, educational backgrounds, and personal backgrounds, and maybe even religions. So everyone has distinct personality and their own style, which is great. We like that. However, we also have this one teacher who is very capable actually in teaching because he's an academic teacher, but at the same time, the teacher also likes to make a lot of negative comments, like on the Maple Leaf curriculum standard or the textbooks. He always says things like, oh, this is not a good choice. Does anyone have a question? Can you speak? No? Okay, then I'll continue. So this teacher always makes comments like, this textbook is not a good choice. I don't like it. I won't use it. And I'll create my own curriculum and I'll teach what I want. Well, I believe he is capable of creating his own curriculum because he's a very academic and capable teacher. But the question lies in, do we expect it? Do we want it? And honestly speaking, we don't. Because Maple Leaf is a system. It has its own curriculum standard and textbooks that we have to follow, so that the students in Wuhan campus are learning the same things with students in Dalian campus and Xinjiang campus, so that everyone is on the same page. And that is the reason why we have this standardized test. And that is also what makes Maple Leaf come this far today. So yeah, it's okay for teachers to have their own style. That is great. And it is okay for teachers to not accept all of the suggestions. But the bottom line is that we hope that all the teachers can follow certain school rules or regulations, especially in terms of the curriculum, because we have to, okay? All right, so this is for the second section. We talked about evaluation and the support. Any questions? Did you raise your hand to Mika?
Yes, I did. Can you hear?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Okay, the question I have for you is that regards to the look for forms, what are some of the criteria? What are some of the things on it? Like, how is it structured?
Okay. So generally speaking, there are major 4 domains that we look at. The first one, I think, is preparation. How teachers prepare for their lessons and whether they always arrive in the classroom prior to the first bell rings, things like this. And the second domain is about class planning, lesson planning, or how teachers organize their lesson plan, how they design the class activities, and how they interact with the students. That's the second domain. And the third one, I think, is about the delivery. delivery and class environment, which means how it is implemented, how the lesson plan is implemented in class, and how the teacher interacts with the student. I mean, what the class looks like when you're teaching there, whether it's a very productive and interactive class, or the teacher talks all by him or herself, like what I'm doing today. And the last one is professional. It's in terms of their behavior, you know, in this profession, whether teachers are always on time at meetings, and whether teachers would like to take voluntary work if needed, you know, things like this. So generally speaking, these are the 4 domains, and there are little, small specific explanation instructions, but generally it's these 4 domains. Yeah.
Okay. You had mentioned that with at your school, your teachers will know when you will be doing the unexpected observation. You meant that they would know which class, how many classes the teachers usually have.
Teachers, the workload of Maple Leaf, if you have sent the contract, then you would know that the workload is 25 classes each week, which means most teachers will teach 5 classes, and some maybe 4, so 4 to 5 classes. Yeah. I understand what you're asking, because the scheduled visit, only 2 scheduled visits, right? You're wondering, okay, there are 3 left, which one you're lean into? But remember, we also have the informal visit during the first month, remember? So I already go to 2 at that time, and another 2 during the scheduled visit. So basically there's only 1 left. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
And trust me, most of the directors are very nice and encouraging. So we're not really, you know, to assess the teacher. We just want to make sure that the teacher is doing what Maple Leaf expects, and we try to achieve what is best for the students. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, let's continue. And so I don't have to ask these questions, right? Should I be nervous? No, you don't have to at all. Okay, let's move on to our next section. And lastly, what's wrong here? We'll talk about the local work environment. So Maple Leaf is an integrated work environment, and we need to get used to it. Just like the saying goes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So when in China, do as the Chinese do. So maybe the way how Chinese people approach things could be very different from how Westerners do things. But you have to look at in another perspective. That is, during this process is also a rare opportunity for you to experience something maybe you have never experienced before, especially like Chinese culture and the customs. So you always gain something if you have to lose some others. Unlike these 2 pictures, you see this picture on the left, see these ladies are all wearing the qipao. Do you know what festival it is in China? It was a Mid-Autumn festival, maybe 2 years ago, I think. And we had this performance with 3 of our international teachers. We sang and danced together. It was a lot of fun. Do you recognize which one is me? The second one on the left is me. Maybe it's very hard to recognize, right? Because one of our teachers told me before that he said, well, you Chinese ladies really look the same to us, to the Westerners. I don't know, but if we're all wearing the same thing, maybe it's very hard to recognize, right? But you can see from people's faces, they were all smiling. So they really enjoyed it. And this picture on the right is another event. I think it's a New Year show. And these international teachers dressed in this traditional Chinese farmer's clothes, guess what they were doing? They were putting on a short skate with the students. Do you have another question? Hello? Do you have another question? Okay, what's wrong? Then I'll continue. Maybe you can ask me questions later, okay? Yeah, with some student, and maybe you don't see the student here right in the picture, but they were performing with the students. It was a very funny skit actually, and they loved it. So like I said, yeah, sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit, but at the same time, you gain something maybe out of your expectation, that's some surprises, right? But I would like to talk a little bit more about how Chinese people approach things. Maybe you're more concerned with this. And also how to do with, yeah, how to do as the Chinese do. I would say the key is to be flexible. I'll give you some examples that I list some examples here. Probably you'll encounter these things when you work at Maple Leaf, like new students coming to your classroom, coming to your class every day. Maybe not every day, but probably every week. So today when you do the attendance, you may see a new face that you didn't say yesterday. I'm surprised, yeah, that's your new student today. And also sometimes the dates of the meeting and the events change. And this happens a lot, seriously. The time changes not because the administrators are not organized, okay? It just, sometimes it's very hard to manage everything in a big school. Take Wuhan, for example, we have right now 4,500 students on campus from grade 1 to grade 12. And besides a lot of departments, and people may have scheduled some event on the same day, and there's only one auditorium in the school and everyone wants to use it. So what happens when conflict happens? Then someone has to reschedule, right? It just happens. And again, other times you see people forget things, especially the principals, they forget things. It's not like they are forgettable people, but they have too many things on their plate and they have to, you know, overlook the whole school. And sometimes they just forget. They're ordinary people. We have to understand it. And lastly, things change because of the policy. The policy changes and we have to change accordingly. Like said at the very beginning, we're under the management of the local educational bureau and the government. So that is why. And now maybe you're wondering, okay, it sounds like a lot of changes. How do I deal with it? The key is to be flexible and to be more understanding, communicate with people, communicate with your manager, and stay positive. And if you can do this, you actually can find that you are working in a very lovely family with not only international teachers, but bilingual teachers as well. Here, I want to share these two pictures with you. They are two of my favorites. So what was the situation? It was like some years ago, I don't remember how many years ago, there was a dancing competition in Jingzhou campus and the teachers in Jingzhou participated. I think it was only the second year of Jingzhou. So doing activities like this in the city is very important. But at that time, it was a very small campus and only 2 international teachers. And the principal hoped the dancing team to be more international. And when teachers in Wuhan heard about it, these 6 teachers, they volunteered to participate. So they participated. And you can imagine it's not easy because people are in two cities. And when you have to put on a performance, especially a dancing performance together, but you don't got the time to practice together, right? So teachers, they practiced from the video separately. Some practiced in Wuhan, some practiced in Jinzhou. I think they practiced for about 2 weeks and they never met each other. And then on the day of the competition, only on the day of the competition, we got the chance to go to Jinzhou. I mean, I went with these 6 teachers. And when they finally met, there was like only no more than 2 hours before the competition. And they practiced together for just that short period of time. And then there they go. They went to the competition in the afternoon. And guess what? They did so good. They did so well, and they not only they won the competition, but also a lot of people watched as they danced. Everyone was very happy. And after the competition, we took a short tour in the city of Jinzhou. That's the picture on the right. You can see. And then the teachers from these 2 campuses became friends. And so this is one of the wonderful days that teachers spend together. So like I said, maybe you have to accustom to some of the ways Chinese people approach things. Maybe you have to change a little bit of your habits or some beliefs that you always adhere to, but at the same time, what you get is more than what you have to sacrifice. Yeah, this is but maybe you're thinking, I was expecting this answer, right? Because everyone chose, I'm part of the school team, and if it needs me, I'll come. Thank you very much. And if you choose this one, I feel really, will appreciate it. But actually, I can. Hello? Who's that? And I can show you the results. You can see the results, right? Everyone chose this. I'm part of the team, and if it needs me, I'll come. A baby is talking. Hello. But you know, as the director, I won't be unhappy if you choose this one. Though not very happy about it, I'll come eventually. I'll come anyway. It is common. Maybe you already have plans for the weekend, but as long as you can move your plan and cater for the school's needs, we'll appreciate it. Okay. Thank you very much. Any further questions? If not, then I will thank you again for coming tonight. Though we don't have many teachers, but I still got to share with you what I planned. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And again, if you haven't applied for Maple Leaf, you can review the job description on the website, and also you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and the WeChat channel. And stay tuned for further webinars, okay? I think there are several more planned ahead. Okay, thank you very much for tonight. And I hope everyone can have a good night. I'm not sure if you are all in China, or maybe a good day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, welcome to visit Wuhan. It's safe now.
Okay, we will come.
We will.
Yeah, it's a very nice city, actually.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.